Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Let's Stay Gamers, and welcome. So today we're taking a look at another small ship gone wild. Now this beauty of a dropship has been designed by Tartaross from the Steam Workshop, and if we scroll down to the front here we can see that he's called it the Shogun. Now this has some really innovative designs as well as a vertical takeoff function that features a lock-in sort of brake, so it means that they'll be locked into position and you won't have to control them with a separate button. Now we'll have a look at the exterior and then we'll head on to the inside to see what this ship is all about. Now if we come to the bow, we can actually have a look underneath, and he's ribbed a lot of the design with the thrusters so we can get a lot of power and a lot of control over the ship itself. And we have some entrance points here, but we'll show you them a little bit later. We'll fly around to the top and you can see more of the ribbing going on with the thrusters as well as a remote controlled cannon, and it looks like he's provided us with some sort of vent in here, maybe some exhaust gases, you'll have to imagine it. He's also broken up button panels on the top to create this sort of wiring and control harness on the top. That looks really cool. We have one of the vertical takeoff thrusters here, followed by more ribbing up to one of the gunning turrets. So you can actually see here, you can sit there and you automatically control this remote control turret and you can fire whatever out on the right side of the ship. So if we head up to the back here, you can see we have the rear entrance at the bottom, so you can actually hop in here and you can crawl up into the cockpit, as well as on top. If we access this button, you have access to the connector so you can dock and process supplies from another ship or station. Really cool. Now this ship has two settings, so it's currently in a sort of landing mode, and when these thrusters are turned forward, different sort of pylons come out. You can see these pylons here with lights extend out to just add a bit more effect. We've also got the landing gears here. Instead of using landing gears, he's actually used wheels, so if it was to hit a planet, these wheels would absorb a little bit more of the impact. So now we're going to start the interior tour of this ship, and the first place I want to look at is the bow, and we've got this beautiful little chair that lowers down in sort of a Star Citizen sort of style, and we can hop back on, access our menu and raise ourselves back up. Now this is not a piloting seat, this is actually a gunner's seat. So if we press 2 we can open the hatch, and if we press 3 we can control the remote control turret on the roof and engage targets that are advancing on this dropship. So if we hop out of this turret and we lower ourselves back down, close the hatch and lower ourselves down to this position, we can actually hop out and send this back up. So press that back up and we'll hop out. Now the second sort of area here is what he refers to as the Flashbang. Now this item folds down, I'll show you this momentarily, and you can actually see these Gatling turrets, and it sprays and blinds opponents in front, covering the troops as they disembark. So if I press this button on the side, the ramp will actually lower down and we can enter into the troop compartment. You can see these bright red handles so you can't miss them. I mean, especially in like games like Killzone, when you see people flying off the dropships and falling off, handles and rails like this would be greatly appreciated. And he's named all the chairs for different crew members, so you won't be in a situation where you'd have people fighting over the seats. You've got the gridded floor, and you also have a World War II style sort of green light go system that turns the lights to green and directs people in the right direction. Now I'd be a bit worried if people ran into a wall, but it could still possibly happen in the heat of combat. So we can switch that off and we'll enter now into the cockpit compartment that's located at the back of the ship. And I'll show you that feature of the flashbang when we get back there. So if we head underneath, you can see we've got some more heavy blast door blocks to add as protection. And here we have this door. Now the door functions in a very exciting manner. Just watch how this folds out. I'll disassemble my hood for a moment. You can see that this area actually flips around and pushes up, and I'll close it up so you can quickly see. Just look how cool that function is. It's a beautiful way of using the door and using the hinge blocks. So you can see the hinge actually lowers down and pushes up this section. So we'll head aboard the ship now. A little jump is required for this section, or a little bit of jetpacking. So we can actually hop up onto this level and we can close this door up by pressing this button here. So you can see as we close this area up, it is now a walkable section of the ship, and that flips up there to cover that access port as well. So we've got the two large sort of curved reactors on the side, and we enter into a medical bay / storage area for your jump drives. You can see the jump drives laid out there, as well as these really cool computer monitors. I really hope in the future of Space Engineers that they develop the monitors further so they actually have graphical sort of displays. And towards the back we have the rear gunner seat, so if we just hop into that, we have a number of different controls available to us. Of course, we have the turrets and other things. So we've got the turret on number 1 underneath the actual hull of the ship. We've also got the landing gears and different functions. So if we press a number 3, we can actually fire out the rear facing sort of gravity mines. So if you're being pursued, you could drop these out the back and possibly save the ship. You can actually see them flying out. Pretty cool. They're in these little bays. You can see a little bay on the side. We'll try dropping another one out from another side. Let's go with number 5. That was the opposite side. And if we go with number 6, we pull that out, and it uses the gravity drive at the back to actually push these sort of things out the back. Really cool little function. Another way of stopping pursuing ships, I guess. So we'll hover around to the other side. That acts as a sort of maintenance bay. You've also got these gunning seats here, so you can actually sit on the side and use the turrets and have a good view of fire as you're using them. So we'll head to the maintenance bay. That is opened with this button here. We've also got that light there that lights up this area, and in here we have some more disassembled button panels, just something you can salvage supplies off to repair the ship, as well as a sort of armory locker with rocket launchers and Gatling guns in, and some more disassembled blocks at the back. Just a really cool and nifty little function. So we'll turn that off, and we'll also turn the lights off in that compartment and head over to the cockpit. So now we're actually in the cockpit. We have the oxygen recharge station on the right, and we also have a large monitor display on the left there. Really cool indeed, and the seats are curved so you can see out of them at the same time, and we'll have a go at piloting this thing right now. So we now switched over to the pilot seat, and this thing is rammed with features. Now the first thing I'm going to show you is button 1 is the VTOL mode. So if we hit 1, you can actually see how these rotate around and then they lock back in place, so I have full control of them, you can see there. And then if I rotate them back, they lock in place once again, and I have full control. And now one of the cool features about this ship is you can see how these little arms extend out as we rotate that, so you can imagine the speed. You've got little arms on the thrusters as well that light up and really add a lot of effect as you're thrusting forward, as well as keeping them thrusters in a locked position, something I really need to adapt for some of my ships as well. So we can rotate that back, and we'll have a look at the next control on a number 3. Now number 3 actually retracts the landing gears and extends them. So if I press that back, you see there's a little cover at the back of the landing gear there that covers them and protects them while they're down, and they retract back up into the hill. A really cool little feature. Let's actually go to number 9, and we'll check what number 9 is on the cockpit. So that is activate Flashbang. Now the Flashbang is this really cool pod at the front here, and if we press number 9, we should activate the Flashbang, and this is to blind and disorientate troops or people that are in front of the landing bay, giving them a little bit of cover and fire and making the bad guys take cover. But still a really cool idea, really nice feature for this ship. So if we flip that back up, we've got number 7, 8 and 9. Let's do a quick check on what they do. So we've got open and close boarding ramps, switch troop lights, and activate Flashbang. We've also got pages 2, control jump drive, and so on, so we control all the jump drives there. Just really cool, full of features. It's an absolute beautiful ship. Let's actually try flying forward. So we've retracted our landing gears. We're going to rotate our thrusters forward. Let me switch to the right menu, rotate them forward, and then we'll take off. Now the control of a ship like this is usually debatable, but it seems to be very easy to control with these settings, and I can actually rotate these engines around in transit. So as you can see here, we've got rotating around without any sparking, without any usual problems, and as soon as they're rotated, I can use them as up and down sort of thrust. So a system like this is going to be really useful when we hit planets, and you can see I'm in the cockpit through the little glass there. Really cool. Anyway, if you want to see this design or check this ship out, it's up on the workshop, and there's a link down in the description. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.